Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. You know what it basically means, if I refer to it genuinely and honestly, is that I am a representative of God here on earth. I'm not a preacher. I'm just one who have been blessed by God to share with you what God has shared with me. Why God chose me to do that, I have no idea. But He has, and I have. So let me just share with you a little bit more about that. You have heard me say that every government on earth is designed to deny God. Every government on earth is designed to deny God, which means if you're denying God, then you're advocating for the anti-God. And all that God has prepared for you, the anti-God takes away. And I can think of nothing better than what has happened in the United States of America over the past several years to prove my point. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a lot of evil and ugly stuff to happen in our face. But out of my 75 years of living, I have ever recognized anything as evil and low down and in God cursing as the representation of Donald Trump. And the people that have been drawn to him, coming up out of the woodworks, coming up out of the pits of hell to stand by Donald Trump's side. Well, they were here all along, but over time, people had tried to come up with some type of law or something to kind of hold them down. But Donald Trump came along and freed them. And they are something else. I mean, they are just what they are. Now, let me tell people who don't know God what God's plan for them has been, is, and will always be. God made this earth, and all that been God made for God's purpose. And on God's earth, part of God's purpose was for human beings to live on this earth. Human beings to live on this earth. And you know what living kind of means. Time changes, and so what used to be living hasn't really changed, but for one reason or another, it's been uplifted. So let me share with you God's plan. We talk about health care. Let me tell you, out of all the problems you might mention about health care, you talk about the cost, and we all agree. But when God created health care, it was for everybody, everyone who needs health care. Every human being that needs health care on this earth, God created that. Now, when I say created health care, I'm talking about giving men the ability to understand, to go into. Let me just put it this way, because I might be confusing some of you and maybe confusing myself. Let me just tell you like this, to fix your health care. It was supposed to be free. It was not supposed to cost you 1 penny. Not health care, from an aspirin to operations for anything that you got sick from. God prepared that there would be care for it. Now you might say, how? How? Every healthcare facility, every individual that is in the healthcare, where do you think that knowledge come from? Where do you think that concern come from? It came from God. And what was its purpose? To be utilized in that process of making sure that no one suffered a lack of health care. I know that sounds crazy to you. I know it sounds crazy to you because it's God's way. And the devil's way is to rip you off. To rip you off. You might say, well, what about the people who the healthcare providers? What about them? You let me finish talking and you just be quiet because you don't know anything. All right, let's see something else that's important. Healthcare. Let's say education. Now, education, that basically means getting rid of this ignorance. And God prepared that whatever is required to eradicate a lot of this ignorance, most of this ignorance, all of this ignorance that exists, that humankind will have available to them whatever it is required. Without me trying to label it, you probably know what it is more than I do. But whatever it is, God has prepared that you would have the adequate education to put you up where you need to be. Yeah. From your mama's womb till you came out doing what God has given you to do. And it was supposed to be free. Free, my friend, didn't cost you a penny. You say, well, who? All of those who are engaged in educating. Where do you think they get that desire from? Where do you think they get that ability to maintain that knowledge? And what is it for? It's for the human race. And it's free. That's God's way. But you know any education that's free, and that which has been, you know, is leaving now. Why? Because the anti-God said it must go. And the people who don't know God agreed. Let me think of something else that's kind of important. Let's think about, did I say anything about food? Let's talk about food. Now, you know you can't live without food. But that great God made sure that every piece of food that exists on the face of the earth would be available so that any and everybody on the face of the earth would never have to be hungry. Or may never have to be hungry, ladies and gentlemen. And all of that food was free. Free. I know you think that's silly. All the things that people have to do in bringing food, and it's going to be free. Yes, free. Because all of those people that work in food were there because God designed it so. That is their purpose on earth, is to make sure that every human being, not just Americans, but every human being, every Russian, every Chinese, every Japanese, every African, everybody on the face of the earth would never have to be hungry. That's my great God. Prepared that for you. Yes, prepared it. But the anti-God said, heck no. Can't be like that. And you know what the problem is, don't you? Without me even mentioning it. You know what it takes to get your food. Now, I don't want to go through every little thing. But basically what I'm talking about is those things that are essential for your survival. Food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation. All you got to do is watch some of my videos. I'm just repeating myself. God made it possible that every human being on earth can access any of those things that exist on the earth because they won't, need, or desire it. My God, my loving God did that for me and did that for every last human being on the face of the earth without cost. Oh, I know rich people really losing their minds now. And you going along with them. Yes, my friends. That's the difference between God's government, and that's the difference between the governments that you have. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time talking on this, but let's see if I can wrap it up by sharing a couple other things with you. For the past few years, we have known Donald Trump, the biggest liar, the no good hypocrite. You would like to call him the devil yourself, but you know he's not that good. He's okay. He's not that good, but he represents the devil well. He, all the rich people of the world, and I'm just going to say it just like it is, all the rich people of the world are sitting there hugging anti-God. And all of that stuff, your house, your transportation, your food, your clothing, your education, your care, your infrastructure, and all of these things, God made it possible for that every human being on the face of the earth can have of it what is needed to meet their desires. Free. But the anti-God says no. MAGA lifting up the anti-God Trump. What that other guy named? That other white boy, they call him the richest man on earth. I don't even want to mention his name right now. It eludes me. But yes, they said they represented the anti-God. And because you didn't know the truth, because your whole entire life, all you know is Satan. All you know is evil. All you know is evil. And so right now, this is what America is receiving, getting ready. Already got it going on. Nothing but the devil running America. But not just America, running the whole entire earth. because people didn't know God. They were lied to about God. You see, God requires that you do. If you want peace, you got to be peaceful. You got to be that which you say you want, because that's what you're going to get. And we got hell. Now, let me say this. I know there are many people saying, well, I wasn't with Donald Trump. I wasn't with the mega group. You don't understand, do you? Well, all of that evil that runs the world, there are people who are saying they're not with it. But you know what they do? What? They go along with it. They go along with it. And so what does that say when you go along with it? It means you are empowering it. The evilness of this world, the demonic forces that run this world, is ran by the people of this world. But God still loves you, because you can change this thing anytime you get ready. It doesn't matter that Donald Trump and MAGA and all evil just spoke up in the United States and laughing at people because they were stupid, and all these preachers nearby don't know God but lying to you and you're suffering by it. The result of it is that we are in hell. But the moment you decide that you want to get out of hell, all you got to do is change. All you have to do is change. You see how easy it is for MAGA to tell all of those lies. I mean, it's nothing new, but they've been telling all of those lies, and then they can come into office, in position, and tell you what they're going to do and start implementing it, and you sit back wondering that you got to live through this. That's by choice. You have to live through this by choice. You can change it anytime you get ready. But if you're possessed by evil, if you're possessed by satanic forces, if you know nothing about God, you will go along with every piece of hell that the devil throw at you. And that's what's going on in the world today. Every piece of hell that the devil will throw at, that's what you're going along with it. It amazes me when I watch on the television and I see people upset talking about they got tricked and this, and people laughing at you because you got tricked and that. Well, you might as well stop laughing, because we're all in this hell. Yeah, you might say, I told you. Now you didn't listen. Yeah, but you in the same boat. And until you come together with one another and say, I want what God has given me. I want my peace. I want my prosperity. I want my freedom. I want my joy. I want my happiness. I want to live the life that I dream of. Until you mean it, but not just for yourself, but everybody, because you got to work it together to make it happen. Donald Trump might be in office. MAGA be out there laughing, ripping you off every ton they got right now, but you can change this overnight. You can change this overnight by changing your mind. And you will not have to fire one bullet. You just change your mind and start standing up for what's right. And the God that you don't know nothing about will stand up and glorify you for standing up. But in the meantime, you will choke every hell that the devil throw at you. And God will allow it, because it's your choice. Nobody's going to make you have heaven. Nobody's going to make you free. God designed it to be that way. But it's your choice that allows it to manifest. And your choice means that's what you do. Okay, now let's look at it this way. I'm thinking about women. I'm thinking about gay. I'm thinking about all of the lies that we have been told. All of the lies that we have accepted. And all that is going on. What are you really going to do about it? Well, for me, I'm going to tell you how I see it. For me, I know America and the rest of the world is ruled by evil and Satan. But not me. They don't rule me. Why? Because I'm not going to allow them to. Everything that God has designed for me to have, the same thing that He has designed for you to have, I will not kiss the devil's ass to get it. I'll give it back to the devil and tell him to do whatever he will. Give it to you. Give everything my help, give my piece of hell to you. I don't want anything to do with it. I'd rather be dead in my grave than to let somebody say Donald Trump and MAGA and America is what's running my life. No, baby. No, not by my will. And I don't care what you say. The devil is not running my life. You can have your health care. You can have your food. You can have it all before I kiss your ass to get it. And that's what is required. Now, you might say, well, what are that profanity? That's what I'm talking about. How many of you have said anything about God's love? Even those who are pointing at mega and what mega is going to do to you and all the stuff that's happening, they're not telling you about God. They'll tell you that things were better. But how much better were they? Those things that they say were better and the restrictions that were used that you didn't know about is the same thing that allowed this hell that we experience in today to exist. Okay. Well, that's the way it is. Now, we are all going to die. You can bet your last money on that. Even Trump is going to die. And what's that other guy named? That rich boy? What's his name? Oh, boy, I really feel bad because I can't call his name right now. Elon Musk. Yeah, that's his name. All of that crap, my friends, it's going to end for you because you are going to die. And there's nothing that they can do about that that's going to prevent it. But in the meantime, they are your lords. You have given yourself to them. And I'm not just talking about America. I'm talking about everybody. Even places where you got free education. That's better than what we got here. Even those places where you got free health care. It's better than you got here. But it's still a part of this world. Is it standing and giving representation to what's right for all people? No. That's just the way we've been brought up. That's the way we have been taught. And even though it might sound like I'm fussing, might sound like I'm mad with you. I'm mad against ugliness. But this is what we've been taught. And the only thing that can change that is to be taught something else. Taught the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. In the meantime, you are straight up in bondage. Now, what does that basically mean? That the richest man on earth, wherever he might be, is a demonic force. And everybody else as well. As long as they have the authority over your lives. And to think that people who said they knew God, mega churches, preachers with a big black book in their hand, took out the truth, put in there what they wanted to lie to you, and preach it to you every day. And now most of you don't even believe it, and you are glad that you don't have to believe it now. You're glad other folks see mega preachers as robbers. You're glad. Hey, well, it doesn't help you. You still walk around lost. And I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I could fix it for us, I would. But I need God just in order to fix it for myself. And my fixing it means this. You can have everything on this earth. I don't have to have any of it if it's coming by Satan. That what I reach for is because I know it is of God. And I get it the way God has permitted me to get it and want me to get it. I'm not selling my soul out for not one stinking thing that the devil offers. And it's running this world. Believe it or not, by your choice. But God is waiting for you to change. Change, and God will defend you. Change, and God will defend you. I'm going to stop for now.